right, so I'd like to show the equipment locations that will be important for your solar installation. Obviously, using a marker pen, I'm going to use a red Sharpie. You want to identify all the equipment locations from the list shown here, where we have our utility meter, main service panel, which is the first disconnect after the utility meter, any sub panels, might have more than one of those, a gate, fence, battery, your backed up load panel that will run off the battery, septic tank, septic field, propane tank and gas line, gas meter, gas line, generator, transfer switch. Now the first project we're going to look at is a residential home where many of these items that we see on the right won't be applicable. But we'll do another example in a moment for a rural property. And what I'm going to do is take my red Sharpie and just draw in the number and point to where it is on the equipment. So the first thing I'll do is I'll draw number 1 with a line that goes right to where the utility meter is on this house. Similarly, the main service disconnect, in this case it's a meter main, so we'll have a number 2 to represent the main service panel, which is right next to the utility meter. There are on this project, there will be another load center, but it'll be a backed up load panel. We do have a gate right here, so that would be number 4. And the gate is right there. And that's important for some building departments to know. Similarly, we have a fence on the other side that would block access into the backyard right there. Now, in this project will have a battery located inside the garage. So what I'll do is I'll put the number 6 with a line showing where that is. And because it asks you to specify the equipment is located inside the building, I'll just put it's pretty obvious, but I'll put inside garage. Now you might be able to tell why I'm using a red Sharpie. It shows up pretty well on this drawing. Now the last item that we'll have to address, well, maybe we'll address 2 more items. If we have a battery system inside the garage, number 6 being the battery, we're going to have a backed up loads panel. And since the main load panel is here where number 1 and 2 is, obviously the backed up loads panel in most cases would be located right in that same area. So now I'm going to draw a line to where the backed up load panel will be for all the loads that will run off the battery. No septic tank, no septic field, no propane tank and gas line. We do have, however, a natural gas meter, so it shouldn't be anything to worry about, but we will identify it regardless right here. That's where it's located. And then no generator, no transfer switch. Now let's shift over to a rural property where we have a number of other items. So in this particular case, we have the main service panel and meter are out at this power pole. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just draw in the location. There's a power pole right there for our utility meter, and we have a disconnect switch on this project right next to the meter. As far as sub panels go, we're going to have a few different sub panels. The first one's going to be right here. That's the sub panel that has all the home loads in it. We don't have a gate or a fence on this property, but we do have another sub panel inside the barn here that the PV system is mounted on. As far as the battery, we do have a battery inside the garage. So I'll put a number 6 here for the battery. And obviously I'll put in just that note, inside garage. All right, so that's the battery. As far as the backed up load panel, that would be going next to the existing main home load panel. Now you can see why I've used again the red color, because things start to get a little busy when you've got more going on. But our backed up load panel I'll have on the outside wall right next to the main load center. Septic tank is going to be located right over here. So what we'll do is draw number 8 here, point to the septic tank, and then we have our septic field with the leach lines, which is going to be right here. and we'll label that as a number 9, although the diagram itself kind of makes that pretty obvious. Finally, propane tank, well, that's pretty obvious right there, so we'll identify propane tank with the number 10 right there. And then it has the gas line going to a generator. Now the generator in this particular project is this device right here, so we have a number 12 that will go here. And then we'll have that gas line that runs from the propane tank to the generator. So number 12. And finally, we're going to have a transfer switch that will be mounted on the wall to help isolate that generator in a grid outage. So in this case, we're going to have our transfer switch that's going to also be mounted on this other wall where a lot of equipment is, and I'll just try to draw that in a way that's clear to see. That transfer switch is going to be right there. So this is a completed site plan showing all the equipment locations that would be necessary. I hope that's helpful.